Hi, Rune speaking here from TechEd in Las Vegas, and I have with me here Matt and Elle, the Demo Jam winners of this year's TechEd.
Woohoo!
Yay! How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Very good, very good.
Yeah. Have you recovered from partying now after your win, or?
Yes. Just staying to come off that high until I get back into the conference now.
Okay. Already visiting some sessions now.
Yes, finally. Yeah.
So, for those who have not watched your Demo Jam
and why
presentation, I don't know. I mean, there might be people who might be fall asleep or on other time zones. What does your application actually do? Because you planned to put it on Code Exchange, and that's actually why we got in contact now.
That's right.
So, what is your application doing? What's its name?
Okay, it's the super generic mobile framework application, super generic mobile app, and we basically picked a scenario which is around safety incidents and tracking when and where they occur, and taking into account the fact that you may not actually have a mobile reception or any Wi-Fi access when these events occur, which is of course what happens when you have a safety incident. So taking advantage of the HTML5 platform and SAP, we wanted to show that we could actually build a mobile application that could run on any device with your existing just ERP stack.
Yeah. But how do you do that? I mean, how do you save the data that you have there? I mean, if you don't have any connection, how does it work?
Okay, so that was the I guess the beauty of the HTML5 specification. So that was what sort of gave way to us that we could probably do this. So part of HTML5, which is a whole bunch of new features for the HTML specification, is two for us was persistent data storage, which is as you said, it's almost a excuse me, in this case, almost a relational database in your browser. With no additional, we don't have to load an application layer, we don't have to load a sandbox, sort of like say in the sideways scenario or the old, the stuff that you would go with the WebDim Pro Mobile. At the same time, we're able to cache the pages, so we are just serving a web application, so it's just HTML and JavaScript, but the HTML5 allows us to cache these pages. It kind of understands the context.
Just for the session, or also beyond that?
Beyond the session. So turn the device off, come back later. It's within, so I guess it's within the lifetime of the browser cache. So, for example, if you did want to clear it all out and start again, you could just go into the system settings and clear your browser cache. But until you do that, when the application's gone, then you would need to hit the net again. But once it's cached, it'll stay cached until
the database will still remain.
The database will still remain too. So the database is separate again. So the database, and once again, I'm thinking through Safari, but you can actually see the databases that have been set up through the settings. Part of the caching is obviously there's the capability to pick up updates. So when the device does when the browser does detect that there is a change, and you can do that through what's called a manifest file, which is a description of the application, it will bring fresh pages down if required. So it's a very cool mechanism that's been put in the specification.
So meaning that your application will remain on the device, and also the data on the device.
The data,
And once you have a connection, you connect to an SAP system? How do you do that?
Okay. Do you want to say
one?
Okay. So once we are connected, it was basically just a refresh process to push the data back. We're pushing the data from the device, and we're basically using, I guess it's Ajax. It's your standard XML HTTP connection within JavaScript. And we just chose to serialize the data with JSON. So we're using a fairly compressed data. It was a very, very small payload. And what JSON allows us to do is also stream the image. We captured an image, like a hand-drawn sketch within our device.
It's a PNG file.
Yeah, which is a PNG file. So the PNG file is just pulled off what's called the canvas element as a base64. So it's once again a string, and we can minimize that as much as we can with JSON, and we push that back to the ICF through an HTTP handler in the SAP system. From there, we're in the outlet lane again. So we wrote a JSON parser, we parsed that, we pulled the data out, we put the data in the database, and then we do a couple other things with it as well. Like we're doing some analytics on it. We're pushing it off to BI on demand as well. So we use the BI Explorer just for that. So we were trying to demonstrate not only mobility on your existing platform, but also how you might do analytics without, say, BI, without some of the business objects tools. So all these sort of things that you could use now.
So connecting really the SAP pieces together,
exactly, like
in a chain.
So we might have pulled out all stops and pulled a whole bunch of stuff together, but it was kind of what was really driving us was mobility was a big thing, but also using existing, I guess, technology and capability. We didn't want to sort of say, hey, you got to go and buy Sybase, or you got to go and get mobile. It's like, well, what can you do with what you've got? And that was, I think we noticed a bit of that coming from the keynote, where it was talking about working on existing landscapes. So so that was
innovation without disruption.
That's the one. Yeah, the innovation without disruption.
Wow, cool. Yeah. But you want to put your code on Code Exchange, and I just looked some minutes ago. You have codec games. What's happening?
Matt, that was your job.
Yeah.
What's happening? I mean, it's already 2 days after the demo jam.
I think it is called Tech Ed at the moment, and the time available here to do things is just not quite there.
Okay.
But we wanted to put it out there, but we also wanted to put a blog post out at the same time. Wanted to give everyone sort of, it's probably partially be in the code exchange information, but make it clear what's there, what's not there, what you need to do to actually make this happen.
Okay, so it's simply a time of matter now because you're still involved here in Tech Ed and receiving sessions. I see.
I think, Matt, you set the project up.
Yeah, the project's there. You can actually already register for it against it, but the trick will be getting the time to do it and probably commit to try doing it by the end of next week.
Our only disclaimer is that we're not expecting code reviews because it's not the best in certain places. It was put together as a demo.
There's definitely some best practices in there.
There's some good examples, and it will certainly, obviously the application hangs together as we've seen in the demo jam, but it's more of a, this is how you would do it. It's not like this is the way that I should write JavaScript. I mean, I'm not my first language is not JavaScript, so we don't want people sort of going, hey, you guys are really bad JavaScript programs, because we probably are, but it's a demonstration.
But I mean,
the
community can still pick up what you did and either participate in your project or create some derivatives out of it and build on top of that.
Yeah. What would be awesome is someone to take this and actually say, okay, I understand it now. Let's look at let's rather than use BSP static minds, let's go into the ICM and create ourselves specific and have a class-based generic mobile framework, a different gateway, one that's much more UI interface that you can just program and apply.
Sorry, I was just going to add, we had a discussion yesterday. We did the expert session yesterday, just talked about the technology, and you were talking about how do we store data. If you go back to the HTML5 specification now, you see that even the guys who write the specification have started to change the way that persistence will work. So our example is based effectively on relational database.
I think also HTML5 is not really a standard which is ready, right? It's still
it's still a work in progress.
You'll
probably find even with something like Safari, it's maybe 65% supported. But some of the big key features like the database persistence. But what I understood from the HTML5 guys was that the database specification, the relational, the SQL type database was too tightly coupled to a particular vendor or too tightly to it. So they're looking once again at things like document databases and column databases. So maybe as part of the community we're out there, we'll maybe get some solutions based on those sort of persistence models as well. Because arguably
it's not a big change, but
that would be good. That would be really
good. Maybe you start some discussions already now in your code exchange project. You have this discussions tab and let people tell what they think.
The important thing, like in part of that demo jam video, we said, look, this may not be something that is super generic yet because of the HTML5 standard, but it is something you can roll out today, and we do honestly believe this is the future of many mobile applications.
So let's see then. And you made a good foundation now for the community to build on top of it.
That's right.
So, thanks a lot.
Our pleasure.
And I hope you have fun with your project in the future. Put your code on there and let others participate.
We will.
And thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
That's great. Thank you.